Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly style snack. This month is all about loving and appreciating our bodies. And this is a very personal message for me. I have a lot of reasons for wanting to share that with you. I mean, it's a message that I share on a regular basis. Um, but we're going to really focus on it this month. And I hope you'll join me for this. I'll be doing my normal weekly style snacks on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, but there will also be a lot of things on my Facebook page, on my Instagram, that you can follow along with. I really, really want us to focus on this. And let me share with you today one of the reasons why. So, um, a couple of months ago, I sat in my closet sobbing because I had to pack for a business trip and none of my clothes fit, especially my pants. I had gone through and tried on or attempted to try on every pair of pants I owned. And if I could get them on and buttoned, it wasn't good. After COVID, I hadn't been able to get out of bed for a few months, much less get dressed. And apparently, I had gained enough weight to bump me up 2 clothing sizes. I was angry and I felt betrayed by my body. How could you do this to me? And what am I supposed to wear? I have to get on an airplane tomorrow. I had been living in pajamas. So I called my friend and cried to her after crying to my husband. And instead of joining me in berating my body for letting me down, she said, "Well, just go buy some pants that fit you." What? No. I have a closet full of pants that fit me a couple of months ago, and I am not buying new ones, is what I said out loud. And in my mind, I was saying, my body doesn't deserve that. Why can't it just fit in the clothes I already bought for it? I argued and argued with my friend about this topic. And then she said, "Well, if I called you with the same problem, what would you tell me?" That was cold. That was cold. There is nothing worse than being fed your own excellent advice during a righteously indignant tantrum. Because let's be honest, that's what I was having, a good old fashioned fist hammering toddler tantrum because my pants didn't fit. But she was right. My body didn't do anything wrong. There was nothing wrong with my body. Our bodies change for various reasons. And I would love you to tell me in the comments if you've experienced a moment like this when your body changed and you kind of woke up to it suddenly and you felt hurt and angry and betrayed, and that you felt like you needed to punish your body and punish yourself for not being what you thought it should be. So, in my case, my body changed from being bedridden, and quite honestly, I was getting zero movement. Nothing. I mean, I couldn't even make it to the bathroom myself a lot of the time, or I couldn't even bathe myself. Like, I was burning 0 calories except for respirating, right? And I was most definitely eating more than I normally do. I mean, it was the holidays happened in there somewhere. Um, I'm not gonna lie, I ate, there was candy and whatever, like the holidays, it was the holidays. And that special combination added up to 2 pant sizes very quickly. Your body can change because of hormones, aging, lifestyle changes, having a baby, the cycle of the moon, and a lot of us had major lifestyle changes when the lockdown started, right? We weren't able to get out and get moving and in our normal routines, and a lot of people's bodies changed. You just did. It was a change in life. So after my friend's wise counsel, I went out and bought a few pairs of pants in my favorite neutrals. Because I have a pear body shape, I know that the weight distribution will mostly be on the bottom half, and it stayed true. So I was able to go through, I tried on my tops to see which ones still fit, and I pulled those out. Essentially, I made myself a capsule wardrobe for my current size so I could leave my bedroom finally. And then also get on an airplane and go do this this business trip. But you know what else happened when I did that? I suddenly looked and felt so much better after putting on clothes that actually fit me, buying pants that actually fit me now, today. This body today fits me. And when we try to squeeze into clothes that are too small, it makes us look terrible and makes us feel even worse. Those 20 pounds suddenly looked pretty great after putting on clothes that actually fit. I like that I have more curve in my rear end again. Forcing my way into pants that were too small really skewed my perception of what my body looked like. And for those of you who, some of you may have seen it, I made this reel. Hold on. It's not sitting where I thought it was. To show the difference between what it looks like when you wear clothes, just pants. All I did was change my pants size. All I did was change my pant size. So let's take a look at what happened. I could hardly breathe. I couldn't even sit down. These are so tight. They fit me a couple months ago. Well, now it would have been like 3 or 4 months ago. But at the time, all I did was put on a bigger size. And look, I look great again. Wow. And I felt great again. And that is the point I'm trying to make here. I talk to all of you about body positivity and about loving the body you have now, dressing the body you have now. And when my body changed, when I was faced with that moment, my natural reaction was, no, I'm not buying new pants. I have pants. I'm just fit into those pants again. That's what's going to happen. And that was totally the wrong attitude. It made me feel bad. That I felt bad just thinking those things. And buying clothes, and it doesn't have to be a whole new wardrobe, but buying some pants that fit me properly, I feel so much better. I feel so much better. I know women who refuse to buy themselves nice clothes, and unless they are at a size they deem acceptable. And we will never get anywhere we want to go by hating and punishing our bodies. Does this mean we can't have goals to be healthy and fit? Of course not. But it does mean loving your body along the way and treating it with kindness and respect. So I have another quick one to show you, a little meme that I saw a while ago, and I loved it. One nice way to feel better about yourself is to imagine what Steve Irwin would say about you if you were a little snake he found in the desert. Right? Steve Irwin had nice things to say about the most revolting. I'm not a reptile lover. I'm just going to say that out loud. If it's not furry and soft and cuddly, I'm not really into it as an animal. but he could find wonderful things to say about the grossest, scariest animals on the planet, the ones that we make horror movies about. And he would talk about how cute they are and how great they are, right? And we can do better than that for our own bodies because our bodies are incredible. They are amazing. They are perfect. They do so much for us. It's easy to sit there and list off the ways our bodies don't do enough for us, but I am challenging you and myself to think about all the things our bodies do for us. And today, I want you to start talking to yourself the way you would talk to your best friend. What would you say to her about her body? What would you say to her if she started complaining about her body the way you have complained about yours? What would you tell her to do today with the body she has today? And when you switch it like that, well, I would never say to someone else the things I say to myself, and that is just the honest truth. So turn it around. Talk to yourself as though you were your best friend, because honestly, you should be, and you can be. And I would love you to start by sharing with me in the comments right now one thing you love about your body. And it doesn't have to be like, it doesn't have to be something related to appearance. You know what I mean? It can be something about how strong it is, about what it, you know, it lets you hug the people you love. It gets you up and down the stairs. You know, it takes you to do your favorite sports. I want us to start, and we chatted something about this on my page recently, but let's get this going right now in our thoughts. Share in the comments one wonderful thing you love about your body right now, in this moment, as it is. And I'll start. My body has it got me downstairs to my office to do this job today. I could go on and on, but this was a big one. Like, I wanted to be here. I wanted to show up for you. I wanted to be with you. I wanted to share this message with you. And my body is the reason I got here, in this spot right here at my desk today. It got me here. All right. So let's take a quick look at the comments. Someone says, I feel this. I've gained weight and my pants no longer fit. You are not alone. Trust me. It happens to everyone. At some point in our lives, our bodies change. It's normal and it can be frustrating. But after this conversation, I would love for you to tell me what you're going, like if you're going to shift your mentality. Do you have pants that fit you correctly right now? And if you don't, I strongly encourage you to go get some. It will change. You'll feel better. You'll feel better. You'll look better. And when you look better, you'll feel even better. And I promise you, getting it, and they don't have to be expensive ones. You can thrift them. You can trade with a friend. You just need a few pairs in good neutrals to get you through. Kathy's here from Missouri. Hi, Kathy. And she says, oh, yes, to something. Vanessa says, hi, April. Thanks for this. I'm going through this right now. I need to buy some pants that fit my extra weight and make me feel better. Absolutely. Vanessa, you will feel so much better. Oh, I can't tell you. When you take off a pair of pants, like those white ones that are in that reel, I literally couldn't sit down. I couldn't bend over to buckle my shoes. My husband had to buckle my shoes because they were so tight and they have spandex in them. That's just how too small they were. I couldn't even do up my sandals. He had to do them for me, and I sure couldn't sit down. So I couldn't move freely and comfortably. I couldn't do what I needed to do, and they did not look good. And that made me feel terrible. Cherry says, did you buy the basic pants? What pants did you deem important to upsize? The ones that I wear most often. I have my favorites, right? So I got another pair of white cropped jeans because I wear those a lot in the spring, and we were coming up on spring. I bought a pair of black cropped pants. My favorite ones, they happen to be on clearance, and I was like, snatch those up. So I got those 2 sizes bigger. I went and bought another pair. I'm wearing them right now of dark wash ankle jeans. So because this was spring, right? So I bought what I needed for spring, and I bought a pair of full length dark wash jeans because spring sometimes means really cold weather and sometimes means nice weather. But dark wash jeans are my number one worn pair of pants. So I bought white, the 2 dark wash denim, the black. Yeah, I bought 4 pairs of pants. So actually I only bought 3. The white ones I found I had in my Poshmark closet. So yeah. So those 4 pants, they pretty much get me through what I need. Those are the ones that I wear most often, the colors and styles for this season. So I started there, and when summer comes around, if I need new shorts, I'll get some new shorts. Shadinma, did I say that right? Is here. She says, hello, hi. Janet says, I've experienced weight fluctuations several times due to health issues. I too would get upset, but then relent and purchase clothing that fit me correctly. I not only felt so much better, but looked better as well. I'm telling you, clothes that are too small make you look. Nobody looks good in clothes that are too small. Nobody at any size looks good in clothes that are too small. Okay, we're getting to the what you love about yourself. Someone says, my body lets me enjoy yoga every day. That's amazing. I have missed yoga, and I cannot wait to be able to do it again. Audrey says, I'm still a natural blonde after all these years. That's really amazing. Kathy says, I'm tall, and that hides a lot of weight. That's true. The taller you are, the more places it has to distribute. Janet says, I love my curves. I love that you love your curves, Janet. Indalo says, it did 75 push-ups today. Get out. The most push-ups I've never been able to do anywhere near 75 push-ups. I really admire that. That's awesome. Barbara says, my body carries my soul to the beach, my favorite place in the world. That's wonderful. Some of you I can see your names, and some of you I can't. So someone says, I have a few pairs that fit. I got some on order as well. I think that might be the very first person who commented. I still can't see your name, but I'm so glad. And do you feel better having a few pairs of pants that fit you correctly? And for some of you, it really depends on your body shape. So as a pair, for me, when I gain weight, it goes straight to my hips, seat, and thighs. And so some of my tops are too small and too tight right now, but the distribution, but not all of them. And so the distribution of weight for my body shape is definitely, most of it goes to the lower half. Other body shapes, you might not have any trouble with your pants if you gain weight, and it could be your tops that you need to get in a new size. So it really just depends. And for some of you who gain weight evenly, it could be both. So it really just depends, but having clothes that fit makes everything. Nancy says, my body drove me to my Bible study class this morning. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Janet says, style is not a size. Exactly. Exactly. Kathy says, you looked awesome in that larger pants. I know, because I was wearing pants that fit me. There's nothing wrong with my body at this size. Absolutely nothing wrong. The only problem I have is I can't fit into the clothes that I've a wardrobe that I have very thoughtfully curated over the years, and I don't want to replace it. That would be very expensive. So I still feel I still look great. I have no problem with how I look right now. Now that I'm wearing clothes that fit me, but when I was trying to squeeze into clothes that didn't fit me, I thought I looked terrible. Nobody looks good in clothes that are too small. Cherry says, I have an issue with my arms. I'm thankful I can hug my husband and grandchildren. That's wonderful. Hugs are the best. Kayla says, my body is resilient. It is. And I know I personally don't give my body enough credit for its resiliency. Deborah says, wearing clothes that fit, regardless of whether you need a bigger or smaller size, always makes a person look better. I sometimes used to wear pants that were too big when I was losing weight because I could feel how much weight I'd lost. But I looked and felt much better when I wore pants that fit. It's so true. And that's really interesting. And I can understand the appeal of wearing those pants that were a little too big. They're kind of like a trophy, right? For you personally, a reminder of how far you've come. And it can be a lot of work to get healthy in that way. And but it's amazing how much better you look, even sizing down when that's appropriate. Wearing clothes that are too big will also make you look bad. It's not flattering to wear oversized clothes either. So thanks for mentioning that. Someone says, I appreciate my body for getting me places I want to go, seeing beauty in nature, being able to read and enjoy reading. Those are wonderful things. Wonderful. Stacy says, hi from Australia. Hello. I'm loving that my body has allowed me to lose 53 kilos. If I don't love it and my curves, I stall. I always keep a few pieces in the size above till I reach the goal. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, Stacy. When we're angry with our bodies, when we're intent on punishing our bodies, when we they don't cooperate. Our bodies don't deserve to be punished. They deserve to be loved. And when we love them that way, doing it from a place of love will get you so much farther than from doing it from a place of anger or punishment or resentment. It's true. I totally agree with that. And I'm really glad you shared that. And it reminded me of this other meme that I saw on the internet. Hold on, I'll open it really quickly. Your body hears everything your mind says. And what about what your mouth says? That's even louder. So it's not, our bodies know. They do, and they respond to what they're getting. Audrey says, would we wear shoes that are too tight? No way. Why do we accept painful attire anywhere on our bodies? I know, it's so true, Audrey. You're right. And that's because there's no stigma around shoe sizes. And you can't control your size, your foot size. It is what it is. It came that way. It's going to stay that way. But there's this, and I've talked about this so much in the past, and we're going to talk about it more this month, that we are being fed lies by the media that we should all look one way. All of our bodies should look one way. And then the ideal that they're putting up for us isn't even true. It's photoshopped. The models that they're showing us don't even look that way. So it's so true. Thank you. Teresa says, I love learning about style from this great group of women in the course. My body is carrying my newfound confidence. I love that, Teresa. Thank you. Thank you. I love this group of women too. This is the greatest community, and I'm so thankful for all of you. RJ says, thankful for my eyes that let me look up at the sky every day and my arms that hug my loved ones as often as possible. You guys, I'm starting to get teary. Is anyone else getting teary about this? I really appreciate all of you sharing these things and for contributing to this positive conversation. And I really hope you'll join me this month, because this experience over the last several months showed me that I still have work to do in loving myself, loving my body unconditionally. I thought that I had arrived, right? I had overcome negative self-talk, and the very first thing I did when anything changed was berate myself, right? So clearly I am not as enlightened as I thought I was. And I know from listening to you and talking to several of you that I'm not the only one who struggles with this. And this is why we decided to dedicate this whole month to body positivity. And I hope you'll share this message, any of the messages we share this month, with the women in your life. Men are affected by it too, to be honest, but it's definitely skewed toward women. So please share these messages. Share this message with the women in your life, because we all could benefit from loving ourselves more. Janet says, I'm thankful that you're covering this topic. Well, thank you. I'm thankful that you're here to hear it. So I appreciate that. Kathy says, I sure needed this reminder about loving your own body. You're not the only one, Kathy. Apparently I did too. So this is just as much, it's as much for me as it is for you. But, you know, whenever I encounter these obstacles, I like to bring you along with me, because if I'm struggling with something, it's like when you tell someone about the classroom, don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask a question, because if you have that question, probably other people in the class do too, right? If I'm struggling with this topic, then probably other women are too. And that's not really a mystery. We talk about it a lot. It's a well-known problem for women. So since I'm working on it myself, I thought we would work on it together, and that I wanted to share my own trip. That was a trip in a face plant that I did, but I'm brushing myself off and getting back up, and I've been working on it. So let's do it together. Someone says, I look at how weak my parents are, and it reinforces how important it is to maintain your basic strength. So important as you age. It's a respectful thing to do. That's the truth. So, and you know, as I was reading these, like, someone was grateful they could drive, and I was like, I drove for the first time in many months this week, because I didn't feel strong enough to, after being sick. And I've been able to start back on a doctor-approved exercise program. And I did some weightlifting. That gets some big air quotes, because I was bench pressing 12 pounds and my arms were shaking. I've become so very weak from being in bed for so long that 12 pounds of bench pressing that's a killer. But I'm determined to stick with it and regain my strength, because, as you said, it's a respectful thing to do. And the more we care for our bodies now, the more they'll care for us. Audrey says, it's a lot to crawl out from under the weight of what the media tells us to look like, and the reinforcement of that standard from the people who influence us. Absolutely. And the worst part is we regurgitate it. We see it in the media, and then we verbal vomit the same words onto other people. Shame people online, tear each other down, it's awful. We've got to be kinder to each other, you guys. We have to. And to ourselves. Deborah says, April, I've always loved your emphasis that all bodies are wonderful and that we should love them. I feel it permeates everything you do. Deborah, thank you, because that's important to me. And the fact that you recognize that matters to me, means that I'm doing what I set out to do. So thank you. That I'm living what I'm trying to live out loud, at least. And now I'm going to try to live it in my head again. Kathy says, I was in the hospital after flying through a closed car window at 20. Oh my word. That's terrible. After 1 week, I had to learn to walk again. Yeah. We really do take these, and I'm glad you shared that, Kathy, because that's part of the point here. There's so many things our bodies do for us that we take for granted, and we focus on what they don't do for us. And, I'm up and out of bed now, and that's why walking down the stairs to my office is a big deal to me right now, because I haven't been able to do that in quite a while. I took it for granted, just walking around, going up and down the stairs. So, yeah, my body does way more for me than I acknowledge. Lenore says, we may have to change the conversation around commenting on women or anyone's bodies in general, though not an easy habit to shift. I totally agree with you, Lenore. I do. And it's not an easy one. It really isn't. In fact, when it comes to particularly my girls and other girls, I try never to comment on their appearance, even as a compliment. Not always, but I try to make the majority of compliments that I give to girls and young women about things that they can control, what they're doing, what they're saying. Like, you studied so hard. You did great on that test. You're so kind. That was such a nice thing to do for that person, right? And as girls and women, we are taught that our value is in our appearance. And that's just not the truth. Our value is, so I happen to think my daughters are beautiful. And especially when they were little, and they would compliment, oh, she's so cute. I would say the best thing is she's as sweet as she is cute, or she's as kind as she is cute. She's as helpful as, and so I would add something to the compliment that is more valuable, not to diminish her adorableness, because my girls are adorable, but that is not the only value they hold. They're kind, they're thoughtful, they're giving, they're sharing, they're hard workers, they're generous, so it's just what we've been raised to do. It's habits, and it takes a lot of conscious effort to break it. So Lenore, I love that. And if any of you want to share any tips of how we can do that, let's put it in the comments. Kayla says, we're constantly bombarded with unhealthy words and imagery, so we need to encourage one another to love ourselves unconditionally. It's an ongoing process. Let's be gentle with ourselves. And I'm going to add each other. I totally agree. And that's why in this community, if you're in any of my groups, the number one rule, besides just be nice, is we do not offer any kind of constructive feedback on anyone's outfit unless it's specifically asked for. Because just because you think there's something about their outfit that needs to be changed doesn't make it true, first of all. And maybe they don't want to hear it. They happen to like it just the way it is. They didn't ask for your feedback, and so we don't give it unless it's specifically asked for. And then if it is asked for, obviously we say it in a very kind way. But posting your picture on the internet is really intimidating. It's very vulnerable. That can take all the courage we have some days. And so that's why I have that rule in my groups. Other groups, I know that's the purpose of the group, is to comment on each other's outfits and give suggestions, but that's not the purpose of my groups. The purpose of my groups is to lift, to support, to encourage, and if you would like some feedback, then say so, and we will kindly offer it, but we don't volunteer it. Kathy says, if we can just be happy with one block for a period of time, it makes 2 blocks possible. That's true. I've never heard it put that way, but thank you for sharing that. Audrey says, what's a good response to a person who body shames us? Ooh, that's a good one. Let me think about it. You know, my oldest are triplets, and when I promise this is relevant. After they were born and we went out in public, I was shocked, speechless, in fact, at the questions, the inappropriate, rude, and personal questions people would ask me about their conception. For some reason, they seemed to think, and it was pure curiosity, nosiness, they seemed to think it was appropriate to ask me how my children were conceived. And at first I was just so shocked, I didn't know what to say. And I thought, how odd. And then I realized this apparently is not odd. There are a lot of people who think it's okay to ask very personal questions of a stranger or an acquaintance and expect a response. And so I had to come up with a list of responses. And the response you got depended on, 1, my mood, and 2, how rudely you asked it. Now, sometimes I could tell that a person was asking for not nosy and rude questions, and I would talk with them about it. But if you're just a curious, nosy, no, I do not owe you any insight into how my children were conceived. So having a set response is really helpful. And that's why I'm glad. That was my point. So just to get over the shock of the moment, I had a list of responses, and I would hear some awful other comments that weren't questions because I had so many kids. So actually, I'll give you one. One of the comments that I can't tell you how many times I heard this, and I was equally shocked every time. I still couldn't believe the words came out of someone's mouth. They would say, I would blank myself if I were you. You know what I'm saying? Like, jump off a cliff kind of thing. And I was just stunned. And they were like saying it, I guess, as a joke, like, because it's so overwhelming to have so many babies. I cannot imagine why anyone would think something like that is a funny thing to say ever. But I had some choice words, and they would say this to me in front of my children when they were old enough to hear, like, understand too. And even when it doesn't matter. Why would you say that to someone? So I came up with one response that shut them up every time. And I would just say, what a horrible thing to say. Just like that. What a horrible thing to say. So I would say that. What a rude thing to say. You don't need to justify your body. You don't need to explain to them why your body is wonderful and perfect, because it doesn't matter. They don't have to believe it. You're not going to just put them in their place and show them how unbelievably rude. What a horrible thing to say. The end. When people give me unsolicited comments on my outfits on the internet, it depends on my mood again. But sometimes I'll just say, I didn't ask for your opinion. Because I didn't, did I? In my post? Sure didn't. And I don't crowdsource my outfits or my closet. I didn't ask for your opinion. So those are 2 answers you could give. But the first one, that and every time they would start backpedaling and like, oh, well, I was joking. And I would say, that wasn't funny. Like, I didn't give him an out. That was a horrible thing to say to anyone ever. And I hope right now in this moment, you learned. I'm not going to give you a pass. There's no good excuse for having said what you said. And when it comes to body shaming, I'm going to say it's the exact same thing. There is no justifiable reason that you can give me that the words that you came out of your mouth, body shaming someone, are valid. It's not a joke. Jokes are funny. That wasn't funny. So that's what I would say. If anybody else has any other suggestions, I'd love to hear them, because it happens, sadly, and we all need a response. So thank you for asking that, Audrey. I'm really glad you brought that up, because unfortunately, there are people around us who will say horrible things. And you know why? Because they feel bad about themselves. If they're talking to you that way, imagine how they're talking to themselves. That doesn't justify it, but understanding where it's coming from can help you distance yourself from it. This is not about me. This is about how bad you feel about yourself in some area of your life. So you can just take it, move along. Donna says, body shaming women and then selling them things to fix the issues this shaming has created is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Practicing radical self-love and knowing we have so many things to offer the world outside of our appearance are so important. Oh my gosh, Donna, we should put that on a plaque. That is ding, 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 ding. Yes, that's exactly what it is. 100%. Thank you. Heather says, how can a person who's 5 feet tall and a size 12 find what works? Everything is geared to taller women. I can't wear a lot of what is shown. Shop the petite section. That's made for you. That is made for you. And some brands even have petite plus. And again, you are envisioning this idealized media lie of tall and thin, and you are petite and lovely, and tall is also lovely. Every height is lovely, every size is lovely. And more I find that the retail industry is a hard industry to be in, profitability wise, and so they are slow to do anything outside of what they call the averages, which aren't actually average, but because of the profitability. And so specializing in sizing can be dangerous profitability wise. And so it's important to put your money where your mouth is. Spend the money with the brands who are catering to your need, whatever it is. Like whatever your need is, if it's tall, if it's petite, if it's plus, if you're like, whatever your dressing challenge is in finding clothes, spend the money with the brands who address that challenge so they can continue to address your challenge. But petite clothes are there. They're out there for you. And quite honestly, it might require a trip to the tailor. Most women need to take their clothes to the tailor. Finding clothes that fit you perfectly off the rack it's a wish and a prayer, to be honest, especially with pants. So petite. Look for the petites, and then you may also have to get a little tailoring done, but it's worth it to have a great fitting pair of pants or whatever is a fantastic dress, and buy the quality, and then just create your own capsule, and then you can build on it as you can afford to, but it's worth it. I promise. Maddie says, when we were once out with all the kids, someone said, better you than me. My husband retired. Obviously. Love that man. Yeah. Maddie also has 6 kids. I have 6 kids. Maddie has 6 kids. We're in the Holy Cow Club. When people find out how many kids we have, they go, holy cow. And get a lot of really rude comments, especially when they're little. Have you ever heard of birth control? I have, actually. These were all intentional. Not a surprise in the bunch. Or you do know how that happens, don't you? You know I do. We took a class on it, and I think we're getting really good. I'm telling you, I've got some snarky, snarky comments for those rude, rude people. Lori says, I completely agree about complimenting cute kids with things they can control. I see it on social media so often. What cute kids, what pretty babies. Our middle granddaughter is 8 years old and is really hitting home how many comments on her photos of her are about her looks. She is a brilliant, caring, inclusive child, and those are the traits to be most proud of. This needs to start so much younger. April, you look so strong and healthy today. Well, thank you. So, Lori, I'm glad you brought that up, because on social media with a picture of a child that we don't know in person, because this is something I think about too. What else am I going to say? I can't see how brilliant, caring, and inclusive she is. I can only see how cute she is. And because I want to say something, I don't know what else to say. So if anyone has any ideas about that, I would love to know. And thank you. I'm feeling better today. Debbie says, hard to find pants as my tummy is larger in proportion to my legs and especially thighs. My thighs need no extra fabric, but my tummy does. Debbie, all of our bodies have a part that is more challenging to dress. And that is because today we don't make our own clothes. And that's just the truth. We have ready to wear off the rack clothing, and they make it as cheaply as possible, which means as straight as possible. The more seams and curves there are, the more expensive a garment is to make. And so this has only become a problem because we're trying to make clothes that are made to fit anyone, and by anyone I mean almost no one, fit our unique bodies. And it's really frustrating. It's part of what makes us feel bad about ourselves. We feel like we should fit into the clothes that are on the rack, but it's not true. It's not you, it's the clothes. Your body is wonderful. And if I had to guess, you probably have gorgeous legs. I'd put money on it, in fact, that you have gorgeous legs. And you know, I have trouble with pants gaping in the back. You could hide a sack lunch in the waistband of most of my pants because of the way I'm built. And we all have those struggles. But it's not you, it's the clothes. I do understand the frustration. I really do. We all have that part of our body. Women who are busty struggle with tops that fit their bust. Or some women have really strong shoulders and they struggle to find tops that do well with their shoulders. We all have that part. So you're not alone, if that helps. We all join you in our different ways, but I understand. I just hope you can believe me when I tell you it's not you, it's the clothes. And back when we had our clothes made, or we made our own clothes, they were fitted perfectly to us. It never occurred to us to worry about it. Audrey says, thank you. Well, you're welcome. And when you use that line, which honestly, I hope you don't have to, because I hope those words never come out of anybody's mouth. I'd like to hear back, though, if somebody does say that and you tell them that it just stopped them right there in the tracks. Rhonda says, jokes are only jokes if they are funny to both people. Amen, Rhonda. The way my dad always says it, it's not a joke if the other person doesn't think it's funny. And that is so true. And to be honest, if you're making another person the butt of your joke, I don't think that's a joke. That's not a joke. That's not funny. And if your best humor is tearing other people down or making someone else the butt of your joke, then you have a terrible sense of humor, to be honest. You need to find a new topic. Thanks for saying that, Rhonda. Heather says, I like this conversation, especially after the Chris Rock joke. We need to not condone making jokes about women's appearances. Oh, I so agree. Is it okay to hit people? No, we don't hit, right? But he was out of line. He was. They hired him to be out of line. The Academy hired him to make fun of people, to roast these celebrities, right? That's what they hired him to do. So, like, there's just so many factors. It's a very complicated conversation. They hired Chris. That is Chris Rock's brand of humor. They hired Chris Rock to come and do this. It's not his first rodeo. He has hosted the Oscars before, and he's targeted her before, Jada Pinkett Smith before. And what I felt like was a really unkind joke then too. But that was what he showed up to do. They asked him to do that. That particular joke went too far, making fun of someone's appearance. And on top of that, something health related that the whole world knows about. This is not a secret that Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia, and that's why she shaves her or keeps her head very cropped, because it won't grow in front of billions of people. The entire internet witnessed that joke. That was cruel. That was cruel. Not okay. But hitting was also not okay. The whole situation was just a dumpster fire. Everybody did wrong. That's what I tell my kids. You're both doing wrong. You both did wrong. You both need to apologize. So anyway, I agree. That was an unacceptable joke. And I would say that, you can make inappropriate jokes like that about men too, right? Targeting, like making fun of a man who's losing his hair. That's really sensitive to them too. Like that's not okay. I'm not okay with that. Rhonda says the right size body is about what is comfortable to you. Absolutely. And it's about our health, right? Yes, it's not up to anybody else. Audrey says, I can't tell you how many times I heard people say things about my glasses. I spent my childhood as a teaching case and as a subject in many studies and experiments at a specialty hospital. I wish I had the ability to speak up then. I'm sorry, Audrey. That must have been very painful. And as a child, we don't know how to speak up for ourselves, do we? We're specifically taught not to, aren't we? You just be quiet, be polite to the adults or whoever. So I'm really sorry that you went through that. And I hope that you can have some compassion for that little girl who shouldn't have had to speak up for herself. She did the best she could. She was just a little girl. Sarah says, yes, thank you for recognizing this. He was paid to roast people. And let's be fair, Will Smith built his comedy brand also on mocking others. You're so right in your assessment. That's a really good point, Sarah. He did. That is also his brand of humor. And he laughed until he saw how upset Jada was, which I give him credit for taking her side, recognizing the moment, you're right, you know what, that wasn't funny. You're right. I shouldn't have laughed. But then he took it a step too far. He could have handled it so many better ways. But again, he's also a human being who is going through stuff and having his own emotions. You just never know what's going on behind the scenes with people. And obviously he felt that was the right action in the moment, heat of the moment. Emotions sometimes take control, but that's a really good point. I appreciate that. Debbie says, thank you. I'm also busty. I do love my legs. I knew it. Oh, I knew it. And wear a lot of dresses and skirts. I live in Wisconsin and dresses don't keep me warm enough. When I purchase pants to fit my tummy, I have all this extra fabric in my thighs and they look ridiculous. I can't find jeans or pants to fit. Sometimes you just need to dress casual. Any suggestions? Well, I created 2 whole courses around it, actually, about dressing for your body shape. And someone in my team can leave a link here. I also have a free masterclass called It's Not You, It's the Clothes, How to Wear the Right Pants So You Never Have a Muffin Top Again. That's a really long title. I should probably shorten it. I don't remember the exact actual title, but it's all about that. And that masterclass is free, and someone on my team can leave the comment to that as well. But it's not a 30-second suggestion. Like there's a whole module about pants in the body shape course specific to your body shape, and then I talk about it in my masterclass too. So feel free to check those out. They'll leave the links here because me rattling them off isn't very helpful. Debbie says, thanks, you're sweet. Well, I do try to be kind, but I'm never disingenuous. So any compliment I give is always genuine and sincere, and I hope you can take it to heart. I never say things just to be nice. And I appreciate you sharing and showing up today. And I want to thank all of you for showing up today, for sharing all of your thoughts, for contributing in the comments. This was such a great conversation. And honestly, the conversation part that we have at the end, that's my favorite part. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your thoughts and your experiences. You have so many valuable things to share, and I love that we can have that part here. I'll be back again next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time with another related topic. We're loving our bodies all month long. So please join me on my Facebook page and on my Instagram page. We're going to be talking about loving our bodies all month long because they are wonderful and they deserve it. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you soon.